All right. This is an exciting session today. All about positive developments and how is our staff responding to those positive developments? How are they responding to the changes that are going on? So, if you want to find out from some of the top HR leaders, I would say in Texas, I've got them right here, and I think that the things that they're talking about will resonate with you wherever you're coming in from. And please let us know what city, what state you're coming in from, perhaps even what country. If you're from another country, we're glad you're here. You're in the right place. So I wanted to start to introduce my panel as my folks are coming in. Again, let us know who you are when you're coming in and watching the broadcast. Say hi, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or here on LinkedIn, and we'll try and interact and answer those questions as they come in. The first one, in my top left-hand corner, I want to welcome to the show Mr. Omar Reid. He's the Senior Vice President of HR at Harris Health here in Houston, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rollis. It's exciting to be here. I look forward to participating in the panel today. Thank you for the invitation.
I'm just tickled pink that all you guys could come. Very happy about this. And I also have Diana Dean. She is the VP of HR at Legacy Community Health, also here in Houston. Welcome to the show, Diana.
Thank you. Also glad to be here. It's a great group. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And then I also have at the bottom, but she's not at the bottom of our heart. She's at the top. Okay. We have Felicia Miller. She is the Chief Talent Officer and Executive Vice President at Parkland Health, located in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here again.
Awesome. Always good to have you guys. Okay. So let's kind of get right into it. And I'm really looking forward. I've been looking forward to hearing some of the positive developments that are going on. I know that different ones of you have different things going on. So we want to give a moment for each of you to kind of explain what have been some of those positive developments, some of those positive changes, and how the staff has responded to it. And Felicia, would you like to start us off? What's been going on up there in Parkland, Dallas?
Well, we have been deep in vaccination distribution. We have actually 4 sites. 2 of them are mobile drive-through sites. We have people register prior to coming, and so that we have enough doses on hand for the day. We have 4 sites actually, and so we are distributing about 25,000 doses of vaccine a week.
Wow.
And so it has been very busy. The hospital has gotten back to almost normal capacity with fewer than 30 cases of COVID in-house right now, patients with COVID. With the vaccination rate of employees, we're up to about 70%, at least first doses, and 62% having been fully vaccinated with the double doses of Moderna and Pfizer.
That's
so
fantastic.
We've just been busy, trying to live in the new normal, but still masked and still trying to stay socially distant.
Yes, absolutely. That's wonderful. And we want to get back to some of the programs that you guys are working on with whether it's the ERGs or anything you're working on in just a moment. But let's go ahead and move to you, Omar. So what's new? What's going on at Harris Health here in Houston?
Yeah, I think that very much we're very excited about the vaccinations that are taking place. Much like Felicia mentioned, our staff is about 72% for first doses, and those who've gotten the first dose is about 89% for those persons who've gotten the second dose. Hospitalizations of COVID patients are down, and so we're very excited about that. Also, I think one of the things that we have seen as the hospitalizations of COVID patients going down, so we've seen the stress level of our employees start to go down. We were running in overdrive, trying to make sure that we took care of all the COVID patients as they were presenting themselves. But I think as we starting to see more community vaccinations, obviously the transmission is starting to go down. Across the Houston area right now, it looks like our positivity rate is right around 5.2%. And so it's not as low as we would like it to be. Below 5% is where we'd like it to be as a Houston area, but we're seeing some real positive gains in that area. And the staff is feeling very positive. We got all types of programs going on. And so I look forward to describing some of those programs as we get further in our discussion.
Excellent. And for those who aren't watching, who aren't familiar, these three organizations are in community health, right? They're helping those in the community. And so you're able to see from a grassroots level how it's affecting the community. So I appreciate that aspect of each of you. Diana, how about you? What's going on at Legacy Community Health?
Well, we have a lot of changes going on, just like Omar and Felicia as well, and vaccines are certainly our top priority. We are, we've worked through getting our patients through as well as our employees, and so obviously keeping our employees safe is important. And I would actually agree with Omar in the line item that I think some of the stress level is subsiding a bit with the employees and the staff getting vaccinated and getting through. Sometimes it's difficult to find the actual staff to put the shot in arms, right? The staff shortage to actually make these things happen. That's a challenge that we've been dealing with as well. But we've powered through it, and hopefully are getting close to the other side. It's definitely with our staffing and the vaccines there.
Absolutely. So we have some folks who are coming in. We have Leah Rose Ramsey. She says hello. And she says, welcome, Omar, Reid, Diana Dean, and Felicia Miller. Excited to hear from all of you today. Thank you for taking your time to connect with all of us in healthcare HR space. So thank you. Yes. Leon Fress. Welcome, Leon. He says, Diana Dean, one of my favorite bosses. Awesome.
Thanks, Leon.
That's awesome. I want to dive back into what you just said about the workers that are doing the vaccines. Has it been more of a challenge finding or keeping them? Those are the ones who are helping to administer the vaccines, that infrastructure that you've had to build. Who'd like to answer that first?
I can tell you from.
Go ahead, Felicia. Please.
I can tell you from the standpoint of in Dallas here, we've utilized all types of individuals who have the ability to vaccinate. We've had pharmacists in some areas. We've had EMTs and fire rescue staff that have helped us at our drive-through facilities. And so our LVNs that work in our community outpatient clinics have mobilized to staff these centers. We have contract staff through the state RACs that were here to treat COVID. Every now and then they would provide some vaccination time in the hospital. And so we've just been busy utilizing as many staff as we could. During the real high volume period of the first wave of COVID, many of the agencies that are contract agencies were hiring our staff away at triple-digit dollars per hour.
Yes.
It started at about $85 an hour, all the way up to $150 an hour. Whereas, our average nurse pay was about $35 to $45 an hour. So we were already in a nursing shortage, especially critical care, and it got worse during that time. We actually had to implement a form of a retention diff to keep our nurses and our respiratory therapists. So it got heated.
Oh yeah, and even the state was supporting some of that, right? Because some of that was state supported, that they were pulling them over to other areas, paying top dollar for these nurses out of your facility. That must have been very challenging. Did you guys feel the same pain from that over on your side, Omar?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I think the ability to keep a workforce in place, given the challenges of contract work, was very challenging, and still, to a certain extent, is challenging. We saw it a lot also in our respiratory therapists. I mean, those
yes,
workers, those were hot commodities because of their skill set, and especially in our environment, they became very in demand. But we also pulled a lot of our administrative nurses who were in administrative positions, and they started administering vaccines. And so that administrative work that they might have been doing just stopped getting done because the priority became to put vaccinations in people's arms. And so that was another way that we combated or tried to shift to make sure that we were able to vaccinate at the rate we needed to. So I think we are at about, I think Felicia said that they're at about 25,000 per week. I think we're probably somewhere around 20,000 per week.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I want to see what our audience thinks of those kind of numbers. That's fantastic. That's great. Appreciate that. Okay, I got some more comments coming in. We have so Joanna's welcome Carrie Ann Gallagher. Carrie Ann Gallagher, she's a very, very loyal watcher of the show. So thank you, Carrie Ann. And we also have Heidi. Yes, welcome to Heidi Kazarkis. She's with the National Association of Healthcare Recruitment. So thank you for being here. I want to ask you, this is something I was talking with a couple of nurses just the other day on one of our panels. And this is something that was interesting to me because I came from the staffing business, right? And one of the things that recruiters would do is they would call a nurse on the phone. They would talk to them about a few different positions at different facilities and see which one that nurse wanted to go with, right? So it kind of gave the nurse an opportunity to compare different opportunities and then decide which ones they want to be considered for. Okay. But here's I never realized this. I talked to them the other day. Because the nurses have gotten so many calls from recruiters that do that same sort of thing, that they're like used to that and they don't want to go back to the old application thing again. They're like, I actually prefer talking to somebody, them letting me know what they have, and then they finding what's the best fit based on my skills. And they're like, I like that. I don't want to go back to me like filling out these. So I just want to share that with you. How does that land on you guys? Because that was the first time I've heard someone, because a lot of these nurses have been getting these calls from these, nursing staffing companies that are trying to pull them away. So I just want to see what y'all's thoughts are on that. Just curious.
Rollins, I will tell you that we are having to adjust our methods of how we outreach to nurses. Some of the tactics that we used even a year ago, we're having to update because we know exactly what you said is taking place out there in the market. One of the things that we are doing, and we're probably not unique, everybody that's left us within the last year, we're reaching back out to them to see if they have any interest in coming back and being a part of our organization again. And so we've got a list of, 200, 400 nurses, 600, however many is on that list. But we are reaching out to every single one of those persons to see if there's any interest. Now that the surge seems to be over, there may be some desire for them to come back. One of the things that we do offer is that they come back with the same level of seniority in the organization. So, they can pick right back up where they left off in terms of accruing vacation, in terms of participation in our voluntary benefits program and in our 401k match and those types of things. So we've modified some of the things that we have tried to do to bring some of that talent back in, while we also continue to look for new talent too.
Love that. I love that idea. I think that idea deserves this right here. I like that. Very good. Felicia, you were going to say something, I think. I saw you were about to say something there.
Okay. I just wanted to applaud Omar for, them being creative and flexible on, being able to provide the restoration of tenure and benefits, because that's a huge draw for people to, return and be a returning employee. So that's great. I really commend you for being able to do that.
Yep. Yeah. That's great leadership right there. All right. So excellent. I love that. So Leon Fresh says, from our organization, we actually were able to recruit nurses with a little more ease because our nurses work from home doing utilization review, and they do not have to worry as much about COVID. See? Now, I got to give Leon some props on this, because sometimes, and we talk about this with clients all the time, is look at what your strong suit is. What is your competitive position in the marketplace, and capitalize on it. There's no shame in that. And, be who you are and capitalize on where your strengths are. I love that. So kudos to you. Rosaline Elombi, she says, very good idea. So she loved that idea too, Omar. Excellent. Okay. Let's talk about, I just want to kind of move just for a second to what changes, how have you've seen your practice change on your side? Because Dan, with Legacy. It's a little bit smaller practice, smaller scope than, let's say, Harris
Right.
Health or Parkland. I think you've
Right.
got about, what, 1,300 employees?
Yeah, between 13 and 1,400 now.
Yeah, 13,
Yes,
1,400
grown.
employees. Whereas those of you who are watching, Harris Health is more around 10,000 plus. I think Parkland's around 13, 14, something like that. Is that right, Felicia? Okay. So, so for Diana, how is it? I'm curious. How is it affecting the kind of the lack of it? It's still a large practice, but smaller practice comparatively
Sure.
speaking.
Sure. One of the things you just mentioned was great. My ears kind of perked is, using your strengths, right? And so as a organization that is a community clinic and FQHC, we are in the communities, and actually one of our attractions that our recruiters continue to talk highly about are the hours that we have, right? So we're not 24/7. We do work late on some sites and on the weekends as well. But we still can offer a little bit different environment. And so work environment is key. And so that's something that we can actually use as a recruiting tool for our organization. Plus, sometimes, individuals are looking for something a little bit smaller, smaller size organization. Sometimes it's the opposite. It really is a matter of speaking to your candidate and finding out what it is that they're looking for so that you can expand upon that, listening well and seeing what it is that they are seeking so that you can grab those items and really highlight why you think it would be a good fit at your group. And so oftentimes our recruiters, for our providers in particular, they like the scheduling that we offer.
There you go. There you go. So feeding off your strengths. So Felicia, I wanted to hear about what's going on the latest. Last time we talked, you were talking about the ERGs and what's going on with those. I'd love to hear any updates you have as to how that's going. And just so I don't use too much jargon on our audience, when I say ERG, I'm talking about employee resource groups that help certain types of employees to be able to feel more included, more of a sense of belonging. And please correct me on that, Felicia, if I kind of have that wrong, but tell us what you guys are doing at Parkland. Love to hear about that.
Okay. Well, this past summer, we sent all of our employee resource groups through a 2-day boot camp with an executor, which is a diversity and inclusion contractor or consultant. And the ERG committee chairs went through the strategic planning process and understanding, their most powerful purpose in their existence on campus or with an organization. And so with that, they were able to align with some of our key initiatives this year. We embarked also on a diversity and inclusion cultural competency survey, which basically showed us our most successful areas of diversity and inclusion and some of the areas where we need work. And so each of those ERGs are tasked with a couple of things. They have a key goal in the area of employee and workforce development and work environment, working with our communities, and then also an education arm. So they all have a strategic plan that focuses it in those key areas. And so they are able better to align with our business of Parkland and our business strategies. Some of the old ERGs were more about networking and gathering, and our new version is about aligning with business so that from whatever perspective they represent, whether it's veterans or young professionals or women or African American or Latinos, that the representation of our company and to our patients is equitable, it's welcoming, and this is a place for them to grow, heal, and flourish. So I'm enjoying working with the newly educated ERGs.
Love it, love it. Okay, so I have a question. I want each of you to help me answer this, if you don't mind. Let's see here. It's one of the off the cuff questions. Is that okay? It's not going to be too bad. This would be pretty. Okay. Tell me if you don't mind, and I want folks in the comments to answer this as well. What are you most grateful for right now? Omar, you want to start us off?
Yeah, Rollis, I think I am most grateful, as I like to say, I'm blessed to be a blessing to others, and my ability to help others achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve. It is not about me, but really how I can help others. So I'm in a position right now where my reach is, my territory has been expanded, and my opportunity to help others is so impactful, or so powerful for me right now. And so I think that that's what I'm most grateful for. Besides, health and those type of things, but my ability to help others is something that I'm most grateful for.
Love that. Okay, Diana, how about you?
Yeah, that's such an awesome one, Omar, and I would certainly say that about you. That's one of the first things I think of when I think of Omar Reid. So, love to hear that. I think for me, it's just I'm so grateful for my teammates, the teammates that I have, in HR, and just my colleagues at Legacy. Everyone has been such a blessing to me as collaborating through the pandemic last year. I know we're still in it, but the crux of it in 2020, and just being able to have those have built those relationships that helped carry us all through. I believe that they would say the same, at least some would at first. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Love it. Very good. How about you, Felicia?
Most grateful for my faith, because my faith, takes me through. I, like Omar and Diana, are blessed. Talk about pressed down, shaken up, and running over. That's how I'm blessed every day. And like Omar too, my reach is immense. To be able to serve our patient population and serve the staff of Parkland, be part of COVID and its history and the vaccine. It's an amazing time. And my team, they're an amazing group of people. And we wanted to bring back the HR function, or the Office of Talent Managers, as we call it, OTM, to be part of the fabric of Parkland, and not just a support department. And
so good.
We have done immense work. We've gotten to the ground. We've gotten out to the centers. Even during the storm, I pulled trash from noon to 8 at night when we didn't have housekeepers. They couldn't come in because of the ice storm. I filled food trays. I worked in our laundry 3 days. I folded 1 million baby blankets, towels, and bed pads. And to see parts of the hospital that I've walked past but not really spent time in. And so those experiences, really, really brought home why we're here. And I'm so glad my staff have just really rolled up their sleeves, literally, and gotten in the middle of the operations of Parkland.
I love that.
So I am truly blessed.
I love that, and for all your comments, that's wonderful. I'm noticing that the audience is responding pretty well to that so far. So thank you very much for that. That's awesome. We do have quite a few comments that have come in, so I want to acknowledge some of those. We have, Leon says quality of life is a good selling point coming from a hospital to a clinic setting as it pertains to nurses. Okay, very good. He says he's grateful for his health. Yes, I am grateful for that too. And all the things you said, all the things y'all said is just very powerful. So thank you for that. Let's see. We got Dr. Julie Olson. She says, good health and able to help others. Yes. Joanne says, love that, Omar Reid. And Leon says, and my ability to be in a role where I'm able to offer jobs to people that may have been out of work because of the pandemic. Yes. And Charles Carson from California, he says, I love that, Felicia. So he loved what you just said as well. Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
So I wanted to kind of talk about, just for a few moments, in terms of EAP. I was talking with Quint Studer just the other day. You're probably familiar with him. He was the founder of the Studer Group, and now currently the Studer Community Institute. He was on my show. And one of the things he was saying is that when you're making changes, they don't always have to be big ones. He says, don't be afraid to play small ball. And I thought it was interesting that you should try and do small projects. That was one of the things he said. And then he also said, look at how your EAP is being utilized to see how well your staff is responding. So you can touch on either one of those two things, what your take is on those comments from Quint. Who wants to start off with that? I'm looking at you.
So
Omar,
because you said small ball and we're about to start baseball season, I will start because I too agree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay.
And I recognize 4 base hits equals a run. You don't have to hit a home run every time you get up to the plate. And so if you look at it from that perspective, then all I need to do is get a runner on base and keep moving him around. And eventually we will get a run. And so I agree with making sure that we are looking at our projects in that manner too. So some gains that we make will be exponential. Some gains that we make will be incremental. And you have to be willing to accept both of those gains as you're trying to move your organization forward. If you're always just looking for the big thing, then sometimes those things fail. And then what do you have to show for it? So we're on a dual path where we look for exponential and incremental at the same time. Change is change. And I think you have to be able to look at that. But when you start talking specifically about EAP, we do watch our EAP utilization. And so we're very connected to our vendor who provides that to our team. Actually, I was on a call the other day and with some other TMC institutions, CHROs, and one of the things that I heard was one of them, it was just standard 3-4 days. One of them had extended it to 10 days worth of EAP services for their employee population. And I thought that was a good idea because sometimes people have something that's going to last more than 3 sessions.
Yes.
They may need 5, they may need 6 sessions. And if there's only 3 that's covered. So I'm going back to our team. That was just Wednesday. Actually, it was yesterday. Today's Thursday. I'm going back to my team, my benefits team, and saying, hey, what would it take for us to extend more days to our employees that need those days?
I love that. I love that. In fact, one of the interviews I had with a few nurses, the bedside nurses of the day, they were like, they were a little bit deflated. They're like, because some of these problems we have last longer than like just a few days, right? They're like issues that are not going to be worked out that fast. So they're like, that's not a really big help for them. So I love the fact that you're taking a new look at that. That's awesome. Okay. And okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you, where do you see us in the next 6 to 8 months? What are you preparing for? Because I'm hearing this stuff about these new variants and all their concern about the variants and all this stuff. What are some of your contingencies or plans out in the future later in the year? Or do you have contingencies for if there's some kind of other variant? Or are you kind of doing dual planning for if it all calms down versus if there's a variant that does creep up on us? Felicia, go ahead.
I don't
Felicia.
know about anybody else, but we're trying to settle into the new normal, and I don't know. We had some wild spring breaks here in Texas, and we've already been made aware of a 41 person infection from one party over spring break.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't know. We're trying to get back to more of a normal. Like I said, we've torn down some of the special units that we had, and we're trying to get back to celebrations.
Yeah.
In a responsible way. Kind of in shifts and being distant. But we're trying to plan to get back to some sort of human celebration. We're kind of tired of the WebEx world.
Yes.
So
sure.
That's kind of where we are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think using our experience that we've had in the past year as a basis of where to go going forward, it's been a great, it was forced for all of us, right? We all had to rush in, jump in and address the immediate needs, but now we've done that. And so we've done that and improved. And as Felicia just said, we've literally changed the furniture around, made new places and created new ways of doing things, new process, new procedures. And so it's, we have a lot, I'm sure all 3 of us have a lot of new things to integrate and to evaluate and to improve going forward. And I think that's what we would, we plan on really using our wheel that we've created, if you will, for any other future event that may occur, be it COVID or anything else. And I think that's given the team some confidence that they've been able to get through this and have built a great foundation for whatever the future may hold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Omar, go ahead.
Rollison, I'll just chime in. If you
Please.
think about where we are right now, it's been over a year since we all went into what we would call this virtual lockdown world. And so at Harris Health System, we've even we've moved from our old location to a new location. So our people don't even know, a lot of our people don't even know about working out of this new location that we've moved into. And so in April, one of the things that I'm having my HR team do, because it's literally been a year since I've seen all of them, is have all their team meetings on site. So, it's just to sort of get them back to the office, to see everybody, to see the new facility, and, maybe hang out here for a day or so. But I think if you ask me what we're going to be like in 5 or 6 months, cautiously optimistic that we'll be to some level of new normalcy, whatever that new normalcy might be. We certainly won't be what we were, in 2019, I guess, is the last time we had any level of what we would call the normal.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that, the new normal, what's the new normal look like in terms of those who are non-patient facing and working from home versus working physically at your location? Do you have some thoughts on that, of what you're going to do?
We're integrating our team will, when we go back, like Omar said, we actually have a new space too for our HR team that we haven't seen. So that's always kind of interesting, but I think it's going to be a mix of staying work from home and going into the office. Trying to, again, going back to that wheel, the new wheel we've created, it will look different moving forward. And also the struggle of kind of letting go of the past. I mean, we've been talking about change. I think that still is a struggle for our staff. It's that uncertainty of not knowing what the future really looks like, but figuring it out as we're walking forward. And it's an unusual, what I meant to say is uncomfortable feeling at times, I think. So it's about trying to be transparent with our staff and informative and letting them know what's ahead and keeping them positive.
Absolutely. And Felicia, I know you were going to say something. I could tell. Go for it.
For many of us, we were right here in the office. We never left. We have some of the leadership development squads that actually work remotely and have stayed remote. And so nothing has really changed for us here. We were really boots on the ground. And what we've told people is that if you can be productive and your quality of work is still high, and you can work remote, that's fine. But if not, you're safe here. We have extra cleaning protocols in our business offices outside of the hospital campus. And so it's not changed a whole lot, I think, for us. But it's different, though.
Yeah.
Rollins, I'll give you 2 key words: continuity and transformation. What do we want to continue doing? What are we going to transform as we move forward? So those are 2 words that are key inside of our space here. What does continuity look like? And what do we need to be transforming to, given the new reality of where we are?
I love that. That is good. Okay, so Joanne, please mark that if you don't mind in the comments. I want to remember those 2: continuity and transformation. Okay, now I've got a question. Who wants to take my question first? Who wants to be adventurous?
I will.
Okay, go ahead,
Yes,
Felicia. Okay, all right, Felicia. Would you rather go on a solo mission, visit inhabited, friendly planets so far from Earth that when you return, everyone you know is no longer living, or visit nearby uninhabited planets like Mars for a few years, also on a solo mission? It's a tough one. It's very tough.
I'm glad I didn't volunteer.
I wasn't ever good at word problems, so you lost me on the first one. I can't keep up.
Would you rather go somewhere that's inhabited, where you meet lots of other people, in some other far away planet, but by the time you come back, no one's still living that you know? Or would you rather go on just a short mission of just a few years, like Mars, and then come back?
But you said by myself, right?
Well, you're gonna
uninhabited planet.
Well, no, it's going to be
No.
inhabited. Where the first option is going to be fully inhabited. They're friendly. They love Felicia, but it's new people you don't know in another planet, another part of the universe. The other option is you're going to go to Mars, but you got to go by yourself. But it's only for a few years. It's uninhabited. There's no people, but you will be able to have some interesting stories to tell us coming back. So what would you go with?
No, I'm going with the people. I'm going with the people. And when I come back, I'll just know some different people. And then maybe I'll meet them in heaven, on the other life.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
But what's option C, Rollins? Did C go to the beach and hang out on the beach?
Right.
There is no C.
That.
There's no C. Come on, this is just a pretend thing here. So.
Okay, all right, I got it.
Okay, but go for it, Omar. What you got? What you got for me?
I want people to be alive when I come back. I want to see people. So whatever I got to do to see the people that I hadn't seen in a while.
Okay, so you want to come back and see the same people?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. And so you're okay with going alone? Okay. So Diana, how about you? Would you be okay with going alone? You're going to Mars, checking it out for a few years, by the way, by yourself. Then you're going to come back and see everybody you know, or go to some other far part of the universe, and there's lots of friendly new people to meet, but it's another part of the universe. And by the time you get back, because of the travel, a lot of everybody you know is not going to be there anymore.
I mean, I'm all about meeting new people. So I'm going to have to stick with Felicia on this one and say that, But it's a tough choice.
I know it's a tough one. Okay, right? So those are the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Okay, so Leon says, we've surveyed our employees and the majority say they are productive or more in the work from home scenario. We are leaning on them as a whole to help guide our decisions in the coming months. Your comments on that, Felicia, what are your comments on that, on his comment? What do you think?
I think it works. I think you have to listen. You have to know your work and listen to your people. And I agree with Omar. Continue what you're doing if it works well. If not, then it needs some work, needs some transformation, maybe needs some structure. So,
Right.
Absolutely, Diana. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just critical to listen to your staff, and we have the luxury of doing that. Here, given the number of our employees, I think it's harder when you're larger. But that's key because they are on the ground, they are in the community, they're with the patients, and so they have the knowledge and the insight that if you're not in their shoes, you obviously wouldn't have it. So I think listening to staff is the way to go, and getting those surveys, that's been very helpful. We've had a lot of productive staff that have been working from home and really have enjoyed it. It may have been a kind of an awkward transition at first to get used to, but now that they're used to it, some really want it to remain.
Yeah. How about you, Omar?
Rollins, I will actually say, I think that what we've seen is that people have been more productive working from home than they were in the office. And even though they don't have a social connection, people start working earlier. People work later. And so, I have to send some of people emails like, why are you still working at this time of night? Because people are working more. So I've seen the work ethic of people increase during this time, as opposed to seeing decreases in productivity. So people, lunches, walk to your refrigerator so you can walk through lunch. There is no commute time in the morning.
Right.
There is no, cleaning bills that you have to come into the office. So there's a lot of benefits, and people seem to have gravitated to that a lot. So, I wouldn't have thought it, but it is absolutely true that some people have definitely been more productive working from home.
You reminded me of something that was said on one of our other shows. We talked about this. A lot of our employees that are working, that we're saying are more productive, are they living at home or, are they living at work or do they work where they live? Do they live? Yeah. Cause it was like, how would you describe it now in these times that we're living in? Are they living at work or are they working where they're living? It's kind of an interesting thought when you think about it, the approach.
Mm-hmm. It is it can be, I think, complicated depending on what's going on. I know, when your staff is a little short, like our HR has been for a while. I worry about people working too long, right, and people getting to burn out. You're right. In your head, you kind of justify getting up and working a little bit more because you're like, well, I'd be commuting during this time, so I might as well crank out a few more emails. And then it starts to really get blurry between where's work and where's home.
Yeah.
So I think trying to remind your teams that doors that even though it may be a proverbial door needs to close when you've done your day of work and not be reopened until the next day. And that's just something I think we as leaders and managers need to help our staff do that. As Omar said, I think that's a great thing. Hey, what are you doing working at this hour? Help remind them. Because burnout is easy to happen when you're working, when you don't have a distinction between work and home.
Yeah.
So Rollins, I'll just say one of my friends is the CHRO over at MD Anderson, and they've come up with some executive leadership team norms, and those norms are being passed out. And one of them is, hey, let's try to limit the amount of emails on the weekends, or no texting after 8:00 at night. So they're trying to push that out through the rest of the organization, because exactly what we said, are you living at work or working at home, or working or is your workplace now where you live at? And so I think we've got to be careful as HR leaders to make sure that we are setting the right tone and keeping that at top of mind of organizations. Or to what Diana said, you're going to see more burnout. You're going to see people, and then the other thing is, because we've been in this pandemic, people hadn't been taking time off, because where can you go?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's so right.
So I butchered the saying at first, but I guess and you guys got me. But it's, do you work where you live, or do you live at work? And so, it's kind of a mind shift. It's like sometimes we feel like we never stop working because we're working at home. Like, oh yeah, there's that one email I got to do. I could be down there cooking something, or well, I actually don't cook very much, but I'll be fixing the food, or fixing a drink or something, or I'm watching TV. Oh, I got to send that email. I got to do that thing, and it's like 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, when they can probably wait till tomorrow. But I don't want to not do it because I might forget the next morning. It just gets very blurry for me. Do you think? Go ahead. Sorry, please go for it.
I can tell you, I typically am in the office till about. I get in here by between 6:30 and 7, and I typically leave between 6 and 7. But unless it's an absolute emergency, I don't send any emails after that. Okay. I typically don't send any before 8 o'clock. We have a 7:30 daily huddle meeting.
Okay.
And I really don't send things on Sunday. That's my day to rest. That's my rested day. I sit out on my back patio and relax, and I try not to bother anybody on Sunday. So that's kind of my rule of thumb.
I respect that. Heidi says, work where you live. You have to set up your own boundaries, work-life balance. Oh wow, Leon, he has a lot to say here. Okay, he says but the downside to that is what Omar said. More employees may experience burnout faster. It's our job to make sure they are maintaining a balance. Oh, that's when you say they're more productive. That's what he was talking about. And okay, I want to have another question for you. Who wants to take this? This is a simple. This is easy. Who wants to take this next one? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take it.
It's Diana's turn. Okay. How does technology increase your enjoyment of life, or has it? Technology.
Man, I tell you what, this is the wrong day to ask me, because as Felicia was saying, I had a lot of gremlins going on this morning with some things. So sometimes, it does make life easier, but they have to work smoothly. I also have found, particularly when we're relying on Zoom and things like this, if technology fails you, you got to have a plan B. So I know oftentimes if I've had a Zoom meeting that's gone wonky, I'm just like, hey, I'll text everybody and get everybody on a call, old fashioned way now, I guess. So a technology, I'd say, has made it easier in some ways, like being able to have sessions like this, and interviews in particular on Zoom has been a helpful thing that I think will stay. But then in other ways, it can create a little extra frustration.
What do you think, Felicia?
I actually love this. It talk about more productive. You don't have travel time. You don't have to worry about parking somewhere.
Mhm.
And I do like the meetings and the conferences held this way. I've attended more conferences this year than I have in a long time. Less expense that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and for the most part, when meetings do end early, I can actually do work because I'm right at my desk. And I find myself not having to work so much on the weekend because I'm actually getting more
Mhm.
work done while I'm in the office, taking advantage of those breaks, between meetings. So that's been working
Okay.
for me.
Omar, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say to what Diana said, when it works well, I think that what I'm always talking to my team about, especially, is our in the consumerization of technology, the Apple, Google, Amazon feel. Amazon Prime is my thing. If I need something, I can get it. If you need food, you can order it. So I think technology has been a big enabler of where we currently find ourselves in the pandemic. So, like Felicia said, you can be more productive if the technology is working correctly. And then I think you have relatives that live out of town. You used to have to, call them on the phone. Now you can FaceTime them or do something and you can see them. And so I think it is enabled some more connectivity, and you don't have to travel to the places that you might have to go. I hadn't seen Felicia this year, but now I see her, and I know all is well, and Diana too.
That's
That's
right.
awesome. Okay. All right. So
You're funny.
I'm gonna.
I was gonna say I haven't seen my mom live since Christmas of 2019.
Yeah.
And if she didn't
Wow.
FaceTime or text, we'd only have the phone. And she got her second vaccination 2 weeks ago. And my sister's gotten vaccinated and my brother. So I'm going to get to see them Easter weekend for the first time in a long time.
All
So I'm
right.
excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're excited too. Look at that. See? That's good. That's awesome. Okay, so I have a question that I want to ask you guys, and I'm kind of borrowing this from Leah. Leah has a show called Talent Tuesday on Tuesdays at 2:00, and one of the questions she asked I thought was pretty cool is, explain to your job to a 5-year-old. It's something like that, she asked. So who would like to do that first? Explain what you do to a 5-year-old. If you're talking to a 5-year-old, explain to me what you do. Go ahead. Omar wants to go first. Go for it.
Yeah, Rollins, I'll go first because I know some pretty advanced 5-year-olds.
Okay.
But in essence, if I had to boil my job down to what I do, is I help people who need a job, or help people who find themselves in situations where they need a job, or they just need help getting from one location to the next location in their life. That's what I do.
Okay, I like that.
That's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
Diana, what you got? What you got for me?
I would say my first thought was I help people get along. I
Okay.
help people, bridge that gap when people
Yeah.
can't seem to see eye to eye. So I help people get along at work. And yeah, that's, I think, a good way to sum it up.
Okay, I like that. Felicia, what about yours? What would you say? What would you tell a 5-year-old about your job? What you do?
I help people to do their job well so the other people can heal sick people.
Excellent.
That's what I used to tell my grandson. He'd say, Grandma, see, what do you do? I said, well, I help leaders take care of their employees. I help the employees take care of sick patients. And he said, okay. So he tells my partner, his grandmother, well, Grandma, nurse, you're the nurse, but Grandma feeds the doctor. Me and Grandma feed the doctor. She goes, I'm a nurse anesthetist. I'm a nurse to the 10th hour. He says, yeah, Grandma, nurse.
Okay, so I think our editors need to do a clip out of this. I want to combine the three of y'all's answers because that would be an excellent description to a 5-year-old. Now, to finish us off, I want to know, see, there's a lot of people who see your title, but they don't really know what you do. They just don't. I know they don't because I've talked to a lot of them. They don't really know what you do. They know you're VP of HR, SVP of HR, EVP of CTO, but they just don't really understand what that really means. So if you were just like to do a quick synopsis, of what you do to an adult that's business person, tell us what you do. Because I think they know what you do, but they don't think they really do. So let's set the record straight. I want to start with you, Omar. Set the record straight. What exactly do you do?
I am a business optimizer, people maximizer.
Oh, that was very succinct. I like that. What are some of the things you would involve in that? What that would go into that people maximizer?
It's looking at business processes from a human capital perspective and making sure that they are optimized for success, and then helping people maximize the abilities that they have that they might not even know that are inside of them.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? Not only do I love what you said, but there's a little extra thing I love about it. Is look right up there. that's literally part of the name of our company. We love that. You love the maximize part.
Yeah.
Okay, so Diana, what about you? How would you describe what you do to another business person? They're not have no involvement with HR. They know your title. That's all they know. So what do you do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'd say a resource for the organization to help them grow and to help them grow in expanding, but also help them grow in opportunities internally. And so that could be through learning and development. That could be through improvement and getting along, like I said in my 5-year-old description, and also the ability to help leaders become even better leaders to therefore encourage their teams. And so I see the job of HR really having a strong ripple effect. If we're able to build an organization that has leaders that are strong, then they will also build more leaders that are strong and enable those employees to do well, which, in our line of business, then equates to providing the best care for patients.
I love that. Okay, they're all blowing me away today. Okay, go Felicia. What would you say when you're just describing someone who isn't really familiar with HR? They're in business, but they don't really know what you do as a CTO, which is Chief Talent Officer, correct? Not to be confused with Chief Technical Officer, because some people may think that when they hear CTO.
Not that. No. I would be an abysmal failure. I'm basically a resource to the people, of our organization and to our community. Sometimes a cultural architect who looks at our values and tries to make sure our people are connected to those, and also working to create an environment where our leaders are servant leaders and our employees are solid, fast on their feet, service masters and contributors.
Like that. I don't know if this is in it. I don't know if this is on y'all's LinkedIn profile, but these are amazing things you could be put on there. This has been great. Okay. So I want to be respectful of your time. We're basically at the end of our time together. And I'd like you to do just a quick plug for your organization, like what you would like to highlight about your organization, like a quick 30-second plug. I would love to do that with each of you. So let's see, Omar, you want to start us off? Give us a 30-second plug, then Diana, and then Felicia. How about that?
Harris Health System is the safety net system for Harris County. We take care of those that are most in need, not that those who are poor and underserved, but those that are most in need in our community. Those who find themselves in situations where they may not have the same level of resources as others have, we will help them we're a bridge over troubled water.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, Diana, how about you?
Man, that's a great way to follow. I love that bridge over troubled water. That's actually such a community health, statement. I think that's good for all of us. Legacy's growth in the past has been exponential, and we're continuing to grow to meet the needs of the community here in Houston. Again, and like I mentioned a moment ago, different ways than a hospital setting, which collectively all three of our organizations can meet the need here in Texas. And so it's a great way to be able to partner with one another and still be able to serve like Legacy does. And so we are just continuing to grow, and it's an exciting thing.
Awesome. Felicia, please.
I'd say Parkland Hospital and Health System is also the safety net hospital for Dallas County and its community. We're 800 plus beds with 13,000 employees who are here with a calling to serve. And we also are diligently working to close the racial equity gaps here in our workforce, in our clinical and patient outcomes, and in business partnership with our community.
Love that. I want to thank all of you for being such good sports with my crazy questions. Thank you very much. And just spending your time with us. We know it's incredibly valuable. We know you're very busy, but you took your time out. And Lesleigh was going to join us today, but she had kind of a thing come up. She couldn't make it, but we're going to have her again in the future. But we want to really thank the three of you for everything that you do. Please thank your team as well. In fact, I just want to give them this kind of thank you right here. So this is how we feel about you and your teams for what you do. So we appreciate you. And we're excited. I just want to tell everybody who's watching, and you as well, we're excited. We're unveiling. We've done a year of research. We're going to be revealing some of the year of that research. We've analyzed over 9,000 registered nurse postings that have been posted throughout the past year since March 11th. We've analyzed sign-on bonus, relocation, retention, and education. I have a data scientist that's looking at it right now. He's going to start helping me do predictive numbers of where the numbers are going to go, because I think it's incredibly valuable in the future. So we're going to be doing 30-day projections, and we're going to unveil the report. And those who attend next Tuesday, I think it's at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. But next Tuesday, we're going to have it. And so when we have that report, those who come to that will have access to that report before everyone else. And then we're going to be also offering access to the predictions as the months go along, because our data science is going to help us come up with those predictions of where we see things are going, like with RN postings, openings, and as well as the incentive report. So I'm excited about that. We're excited about our new coaching program we have that's going to be kicking off. And so anyway, I'm just telling everyone who's watching, if you're in HR and TA, please join us next Tuesday and look out for more information on that. But thanks for the three of you for being on today. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything you do. Those who are watching the comments, thank you. Have a great rest of the day. And if you are SHRM certified, feel free and put in for your PDCs. Thank you for your time.
Good deal.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see, am I safe to turn it off? Okay, yeah.
Did you end it yet, Rollins?
No, I'm asking, is it okay to do it? Go ahead and end it.
Oh, no.
Don't
Did you end it yet, Rollins?
No, I haven't. I'm asking you, should I go ahead and end it?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Okay. I think I should go ahead and end it. Let me just go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
Okay.